Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second episode of Season 2 of Fae Fam Talks, where I, Glamour Fairy, talk to content creators about their journeys through content creation and more. Today, our guest here is Risaalove. They're an amazing content creator, and their pronouns are they, them. So, that being said, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, so like you said, my name's Risa. Pronouns are they, them. I am actually a doctor. I'm a doctor of pharmacy, so that's kind of what I do in my real life outside of Twitch. As far as on Twitch, I'm a variety streamer. I say I'm pretty bad at video games, even though I'm okay. But I say I'm bad because I'm actually pretty funny, in my opinion. And yeah, I had other stuff, and that's out of my mind now, so
That usually always happens with me too. I say the same thing. I always tell people that I'm really bad at video games because I'm I get so mad at them. So like I totally understand that.
yeah, if I say I'm bad at video games, then when I do something good, it's like, oh, you did something good.
Right? It's a whole nother look on it. You're like, yes, I did something good rather than
Yep,
being bad at this game.
exactly.
So you said that you were a doctor of pharmacy.
Yeah, so I went to undergrad, got a biology degree, went to 4 years of doctor of pharmacy school, came out a doctor of pharmacy. So, Dr. Risa, but obviously don't want to be called doctor. I feel like it's like too formal.
That's
Unless
really
it's like,
cool though.
yeah, it does work better though because I am non-binary and it's like, oh, Miss Risa, it's like Dr. Risa, and
I
it works
love
out pretty
that.
well.
That is awesome. And plus then you're just like, you get to flaunt that title because you earned it. You worked for it.
Yeah.
So, with your content creation, where have you I know you mostly through Twitch, but I do see you posting on YouTube and other social medias as well. Where did you get your start from content creating?
So way back when I was a Animal Crossing Tumblr person, so I'd had like my New Leaf town, documented all of that on Tumblr. I did a bunch of designs, and that's kind of where it started. And I did that from pretty much when the game came out till the end of 2016, start of 2017, before my life got like too crazy to actually do other things. But then when Animal Crossing New Horizons was announced, I was like, I really did like that Tumblr thing, but I started watching people on Twitch, specifically. Like I started like, you and a lot of other Club Tortimer people. Crystal, Simply Press Start, she was like the first person I really watched. And she did Animal Crossing. And so kind of watching her and then you and a few other streamers, I was like, I really like this community of people I'm talking to. I also would like to stream because I did like making that Animal Crossing content. Um, and then, New Horizons, I was like, I don't want to do the Tumblr stuff. That was too much work uploading every day or whatever. But it's like, I'll start streaming. My husband had actually kind of streamed for a little bit before deciding, it wasn't really for him. So we did have some of the stuff. Like we had the microphone and we had a capture card. So it was kind of nice to have some of that. So I started with Sims 4, Stardew, kind of just things on the computer to kind of like dip my
Get
toes
ease
in
in.
streaming. Yeah, because I didn't really like know how it would go. So I
Yeah.
kind of started for a few months, kind of in and out, and then probably if like a month before New Horizons came out, I kind of got more into it, doing a lot more Sims, and then starting Kingdom Hearts. So I knew from the beginning I wanted to be a variety streamer. It just I didn't want to like limit myself to just being Animal Crossing or Sims or anything like that. But then when Animal Crossing New Horizons came out, I did notice a lot more people watching me, and because I had a lot of communities built around the Animal Crossing community,
Oh yeah.
that's when I got affiliate and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
here I am now.
Yes. I think a lot of us Animal Crossing streamers noticed a big jump, and kind of we were kind of expecting it. I was expecting it. I was expecting there to be some sort of jump, especially with the panini starting and everything, and we were all getting trapped inside of our homes and whatnot. So I was expecting it to be somewhat, but when you base your community on a specific game, kind of. I mean, like you don't like specifically because you said variety streaming, and but like when you're playing a certain game for a while, you start getting more people from that, especially when you're dipping your toes in other communities like Crystals and other Club Tort members. So, especially because it's Club Tort, so it's
Mm.
like it's all Animal Crossing at some point streamers. So,
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a lot of my. I feel like for a lot of streamers, it's like you get that one community that kind of start out, and then a lot of people stay for the Animal Crossing, but sometimes they'll stay for the other stuff too. So,
yeah, I did the same thing. I found people I found Twitch through Crystal as well. Well, I found Twitch through Crystal, and then I grew my community throughout Club Tort members and stuff from the beginning ones. And I also I didn't have the capture card when I first started, so I started with Sims and Stardew, but mostly Stardew. I played like
mm,
a whole month and a half of just straight up Stardew for like every single day. And it was my first time ever playing it as well. So I had like 250 to 300 hours of Stardew just in that one farm that I had learned everything in. And now in order for me to access it, I have to go to my husband's computer.
oh,
So it sucks, but you know, it's kind of a cool thing. To think about that, I started streaming with Stardew Valley, and then like we grow from there and have all sorts of games that we love to play.
yeah, I think it's always nice to have like the game or two you start with, and then seeing what happens from there.
Yeah. Excuse me, sorry. And then with your variety streaming, what are some games that you particularly have been looking at playing and whatnot?
So like I do a lot of the cozy Nintendo stuff, Animal Crossing, Stardew, those kind of things. I did kind of early on also start playing Kingdom Hearts because I was like, I have a ton of backlog of games and I just bought all the Kingdom Hearts, so let's play those. They're kind of in that mid ground of kind of that JRPG, but also still being cozy because it's Disney and it's still kind of cute. Um, and so, and then I eventually from there, I definitely keep with the cozy stuff, but I do have a long backlog of games that I just was like, you know what, I'll play these on stream, and if people like them, I'll keep playing them, and if doesn't kind of work out, doesn't work out. Like I did play, or I've been playing Life is Strange, and
Yes.
that's really good because people like to. It's kind of one of those games you can watch and enjoy, um, for the most part. Although every now and then it's like I get stuck and it's like, I'm sorry, this is taking me 30 minutes to find one thing. But
Me.
but it's like I play games like that too, but I've also, I've played other games like League of Legends and Red Dead, and those kind of don't resonate with the community as much. But I still like playing them on my own time, but kind of realizing, there's a few people who will watch me play these, but for the most part, it's not really the community it's not really a game the community loves. So I'll try anything out once. I'll play some games and stream, and people will love them. I'll get followers. Like I played Spider-Man for the PS4, and I got plenty of new people coming in and being like, "Oh, I love this game. It's great." But then, yeah, I played Red Dead, and it was like nobody really wanted to like watch me play that. So it's kind of saying I'm a variety streamer gives me that opportunity to try new games and see what
Yeah.
works in the community, and also get through that backlog.
Right. And for the longest time, I've been in and out of being like calling myself a variety streamer. Because like one minute I'm playing all of one game and then I get tired of that game. So I find something else and I get, into another game. So, Stardew, I was getting really into it. And for a couple of months there, I was only playing Stardew. Then I got my capture card. So then I was only playing Zelda until Animal Crossing came out. When Animal Crossing came out, I played for like, I don't know, 6 or 7 months straight, like a lot of us did.
Mhm.
And then I got into Dead by Daylight, and I've just been playing a lot of that, which, the switch from Animal Crossing to Dead by Daylight, like my numbers dropped drastically from when I went from Animal Crossing down to Dead by Daylight. And that has to also do with something that we'll probably talk a little bit more later, but the saturation of a game and how saturated it is and how many like viewers are watching that certain game is just not plausible for somebody to be watching me and finding somebody new. But like I said, we'll get more into that a little bit later. But I do want to ask you, like, what is like your inspiration of streaming? Because you said that you found, or that you found the Club Tort members and stuff like that. Did they have a, what's the word? Oh, I don't even know what the word is anymore.
Like an
Influence. There we
impact
go.
influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, definitely. It's one thing watching someone who has 70 plus viewers and being like, oh, this is cool, I want to do it. But realizing, as a starting person, you're not really going to start. You're not going to get, 50 viewers in a day. So finding the other members like you, Tea Leaf Prophecy, Nick TV, and kind of watching how the smaller communities and how you guys are really close knit with the people who are in your community, and you know who your chatters are, and you talk to them a lot. And so kind of seeing, for me, streaming is a hobby, but wanting to have that close knit community, especially during the like panini and stuff like that, was like, I mean, I started a little before that, but I was really like, I'm not going outside. I don't have many friends where I live now because I moved, and so creating an online community with people, not just going in and talking, but being able to kind of bring people to me who want to talk to me, has also been great. So I would say like definitely the like kind of smaller communities that are tight knit was really something that drove me to be like, I actually do want to stream more than every now and then, and that was really kind of where I got a lot of my inspiration was kind of
Yeah.
from the smaller communities too.
Oh, I love that. Because, like, I mean, I totally understand that because I found Twitch through Crystal, and I'm sure everyone's tired of hearing this story because I say it all the time. But like, I found Twitch through Crystal during a time where I was like not happy at all, and like went from there and just kind of went through a bunch of people and found the Club Tort members that they had at the time, and then went through more people through the raids that they went through, and now my Twitch viewer, like, not viewer list, the following list, there we go, the Twitch following list is like huge, and I'm always like seeing who's on and what games they're playing and stuff. I'm like, ooh, do I feel like watching somebody playing this game, or do I want to see if this person's on? And it's those tighter knit groups that you've noticed that you kind of cling with, and even going to like bigger streamers and saying hi in there. It's always nice to have that person to like say hi to you, because I'm in the same like thing, except I didn't move. Everybody else around me moved. So like I don't have my friends here anymore. My best friend moved miles away to another state, and then my sister moved a couple of states down because she moved to California. So like I'm not I don't have very many friends around here, and having Twitch and streaming is a really nice way to get that community, and then like some of those friendships that you've grown to get. Grown to get? No, that's not
I know what you mean.
yeah, grown to have? I don't know. I don't know where I'm
don't know.
going anymore. So,
Good enough.
what are your goals and your future plans for future streams?
I kind of have gotten sort of a schedule, kind of depends. I try to stream at least once on the weekend, 2 days in the week, and for the weekdays I try to like have a game picked and scheduled. So like I've been going through Kingdom Hearts. I took like a few months off because of Animal Crossing from that, but I've been going through Kingdom Hearts, so that's kind of always been like a Monday, Tuesday game or whatever. And then kind of rotating the other weekday out with another game on my backlog, or if there's just like a game I really, want to play or something like that. And then on the weekends, I kind of just want to play whatever I want to play. And so sometimes, that's just like playing Animal Crossing or I mean, it's kind of just been Animal Crossing lately, but for a time I was like playing My Time at Portia and Stardew and like kind of playing those games on and off stream as I wanted to. But I
Hmm.
also like on weekends doing like multiplayer games like Mario Kart or something like that, just to kind of get more interaction with the community. And my weekend streams tend to have, more people can watch on the weekend.
Yeah,
So kind of having that ability to interact more with the community as well.
for sure. Um, do you oh, I had it in my head and then it like escaped me. I swear the sun is starting to fry my brain at this point. Um, do you have any like you because like I know you've been working a little bit more and more on your YouTube channel as well. Do you have any like plans ready to go more in that or like because I know you were doing dream addresses for a while there and doing
Yeah.
tours.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of Dream Address tours for Animal Crossing. Like around Christmas time, I was doing like 2 a week because so many people were like, "Oh, look at my Christmas stuff," and I was like, "I want to get this Christmas stuff done in December, January at least."
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I feel like a lot of people kind of stopped updating and haven't really, they're kind of like, "My island hasn't changed much," and I'm like, "All right, well, I'm love doing Dream Address tours. I always like say if anyone else wants to do that, I'll keep Dream Address tours. And they're really fun. They give me inspiration, and I never bring that into my island because I'm like, oh, look at these 20 ideas, and I never do anything. But I've been doing that. I did a Link's Awakening Let's Play on there, which I really enjoyed because I actually had never finished a Zelda game until that. So
Yes.
it was it was kind of just a fun game to kind of play on my own. Um, and then I've also done a little bit of new Pokemon Snap,
Mm-hmm.
which has also just kind of been fun to do on my own. And like I like YouTube. I really did. I think I like more like the island tours and like kind of those one videos where I can just make one and it's okay if I take a little bit of a break. But I do like doing the Let's Plays too. I really like, sitting down for 30, 40 minutes, making a video, editing it, and posting it. Like, I really like that process.
Mm-hmm.
And like for some games, like for Link's Awakening, it was kind of easy to talk to myself. For Pokemon Snap, it's kind of been a little harder to kind of be like, oh, I'm going through this course again, and because I need more things or whatever. So it's kind of been a little more difficult with that. But doing, Link's Awakening and then the tours, being able to sit down, especially the island tours, go around and like, oh, I really love this area and this is why I love it. And I've had people say, they've had their tour from my video and then they've also had it on a live stream and they're like, in your video, you were able to tour my island and focus on these points. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
on live streams, sometimes, people are like, oh, this is cool. And then they start talking to chat.
Yeah.
So kind of being able to give like those people their work and their credit for their work is
Mm-hmm.
something I really like doing on YouTube, and doing things more like that is what I strive to do.
Yeah.
Um, so I've considered maybe doing some like Sims building and then hoping, people will show me their buildings that they're proud of or whatever.
Ooh, yeah.
Um, so like I've had some kind of ideas like that where I can showcase a little bit of my work, but also work that other people are doing.
For
I think
sure.
it's a nice way to kind of focus on what someone's done. And compared to streaming, like I like kind of just talking to chat a lot of the times. And I feel like if I'm going to be checking out something someone did, it's like I would rather kind of focus and do that for them. So
Have more focus on on what they're doing and how they're doing it and stuff. Yeah, because I have noticed that before. I've remember watching somebody doing a dream address tour. I can't remember who it was, but they were looking at it and they were focused on it and then all of a sudden something happened in chat, so they were talking to chat a lot and they just kept walking around on the island, and they missed like an entire section that they like not that they missed, but it was more of like a something that was kind of an undertone that you wouldn't really notice unless you were actually like paying attention. And because they were just running through the island, they didn't really exactly see it. And I've done it plenty of times on stream, doing dream address tours, and have missed something completely unless if you were to do it like how you said with a YouTube video where you can put more focus on it and you don't have to focus too much on chat.
yeah, yeah, and that's definitely something I like on my YouTube. But I would say it's definitely a back seat to Twitch as far as content creation goes.
For sure. I'm kind of the same way. I'm trying to put more content onto YouTube. It's just sometimes it's hard, and like doing like I played Super Mario Galaxy on stream, and then I went ahead and grabbed those streams and I just cut it from the beginning, cut it at the end, and did like a quick little voiceover on it, and then threw it onto YouTube and called it good because I just, I already played the game and I was talking to chat during the whole thing. And I'm like, I could have just like went through it a little bit further and cut out some of the chat speaking stuff, but you know, it's one of those things, and some people want to see the playthrough of it but didn't get to see the beginning of it, and I think that it's kind of a fun idea, but I'm not sure if I want to keep pursuing that or not.
Yeah, I think there's like times where it's like I like watching VODs of like certain games because it's like, it's kind of a chill game. I don't mind if I'm listening to them talk to chat. But then there's like some games where I'm like, I really just want to see the story on this. And
Hmm.
if you have as little commentary as possible, that's great. So kind of like if it was like something like Super Mario Galaxy, I've played that game. I know that game, but I never finished it. So like
Hmm.
watching someone like casually play it is fine. But then there's like some games where it's like I can't play Resident Evil because I get scared, but I love the stories and I
Yeah.
want to just like sit and watch someone play that. So I think there's like both of them are fine, and having one or the other is totally cool because I
Right.
there's definitely different people. Like some people just they're only on Twitch because they love watching live streams. So
Right. I love watching live streams and seeing people interact with others, but I also it's kind of funny during the day, I'll watch Twitch, and then at nighttime I'll watch YouTube. So like I'll watch people playing Dead by Daylight and like the way that they're like they'll be talking about how they're playing the character or something, and or I'll watch some Animal Crossing videos as well. Been trying to catch up on everyone's new playthroughs that they've been putting on YouTube and stuff, and so it's like I have more daytime for Twitch and nighttime for YouTube, and it's like something to watch right before I go to bed, and then I'm like, solid. So it's kind of nice to have that balance there.
yeah, yeah.
So that being said, let's go ahead and switch on over to our topic of the day, which is you wanted to talk about the pros and cons of variety streaming. So in your thought process of this, what is like the biggest pro of playing variety games on Twitch?
I would say the biggest one is I don't like I get burnt out if I'm playing one thing constantly. And if I was like only playing Animal Crossing or, Mario Kart or whatever, and that's all I did and that's all people watched me for, I'd be like, I don't want to play this on my own time. I don't want to play this every other day on stream. Like I don't like finishing games because I feel like I get burnt out a lot of the time. If even if I'm just playing on my own. Now, if I'm doing it on Twitch and I feel like, I'm playing Animal Crossing and it's like, I don't know, same stuff day in and day out. I redid this part of my island, or I'm playing something like just Splatoon. I was playing a lot of Splatoon for a while. It's like, it gets repetitive, and I love those games, but I don't want to save them for stream and not have fun doing them anymore. I don't want it to feel like a job where I'm like, oh, Animal Crossing is my job. And so I think for me, the variety is I could play what I want when I want, more or less. And I just think it's getting burnt out. I've heard so many people say, I was playing Splatoon or Smash Bros. I feel like a lot of those people are like, I need a break. I can't play that every time I stream.
Yeah.
And I just think that's definitely why when I started, I was like, I'm going to do variety. I don't want to get burnt out.
Which is funny because like I started streaming with the thought process of I'm going to become an Animal Crossing streamer. I'm going to play only Animal Crossing when it comes out. It is going to be my life, everything from like sun up to sundown. I'm just only playing Animal Crossing. Like I was just like a very adamant about it, and like you can ask my husband the same thing. Like he was just like. He's like, okay, I understand. When Animal Crossing is here, I no longer have a wife. I was like, yes, exactly. Well, it came around and like it was true for like, the 3, 4, 6 months. I don't even remember at this point. That whole last year is just kind of a blur at this point.
Mhm.
But I was playing Animal Crossing for a really long time, and it was almost like when you go into a when you go through a raid and someone's like, "Oh, go follow this person. This is what they play." Like you don't want it to be just the one thing. If especially if you're a variety streamer, you don't want to be like, "Oh yeah, they play Animal Crossing," and then that's it. Like, no, I just like I play other games too. Like, I have variety. I play Dead by Daylight too. It's like I like to kill things as well as like give hugs to my villagers all at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Especially like you said, when you go into a raid and they're like, "Oh, they play Animal Crossing," and if you're like, you raid someone who maybe they're not playing Animal Crossing, but they're playing Stardew or something, and you're like,
Hmm.
"Oh, they play Animal Crossing, that's it." And some people are like, "Well, I don't want to just Animal Crossing kind of things,"
Hmm.
which is like fine, but it just for me, it's like like you said, you played it for months. I probably played just Animal Crossing on Twitch for like the first few months too,
Hmm.
but then it got to the point where I was like, I can't be playing this for hours every day. I need to kind of like change stuff.
Yeah, change it up and whatnot.
Hmm.
So the other side of that, we went for the pros, being able to play whatever game we want. Obviously, we want to go on to the other side of that and talk about the cons of it. And the con that I was talking about earlier was like viewership.
Yeah, I definitely notice the most viewers I get are when I'm playing Animal Crossing.
Hmm.
Followed by Splatoon because I was definitely doing that for a while and got a lot of followers for that. But playing those games, it's like people come in and they'll be like, "Oh, I love Animal Crossing. This is what's going on my island," and I feel like people can talk about what they're doing and comment on what I'm doing when it comes to Animal Crossing, and my numbers are usually quite a bit better than when it's like Life is Strange or even Kingdom Hearts.
Hmm.
There's definitely because I feel like that was kind of that's what I got affiliate was all around Animal Crossing. So before that,
Hmm.
after that, it was a lot of people followed and watched during that time. So it's kind of what you know they signed up for more or less.
Right,
And so
right.
even though there's like people who they don't care what I'm playing, they'll come and show up. It's definitely a lot less than, if I go live and they say, "Oh, it's Animal Crossing," I'll go watch, but oh, it's Kingdom Hearts, I don't care about that. So there's definitely
Yeah.
you lose numbers for sure.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that sucks, especially if you're like, because you said you're doing streaming for like a hobby.
Hmm.
And for somebody who's trying to make it as a job, it's not impossible, but it's pretty damn close to become a variety streamer and try to make that your thing unless you make it very specific.
Yeah, I think if you look at a lot of people who get partnered, they're usually, I feel like they play pretty much one game most of the time,
Mhm.
especially when they're in that like partner process, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I've seen, people they're playing a bunch of like Sims or Animal Crossing, they get partnered and then they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit," and their numbers will kind of
Drop.
decrease on other
Mhm.
games.
They get
So
that
definitely,
partnership and then it drops.
yeah, exactly. And so I think you know, if I was going for partner, I would probably still focus more on one game, but I wouldn't make it my only game, just
Yeah.
because like there is that drop, and if that's the only thing you're doing, and that's all they expect,
Yeah.
it could be difficult.
For sure. And that's one, like, finding out, like, what your viewers like as well as what you like, because your viewers, like you said, they like Animal Crossing more, and you're like, I want my numbers to be higher. I need to play more Animal Crossing. Like, but, like, you also don't want to do that either because if you don't like playing that game or you're burnt out on it, you just kind of want to stop. Like you don't want to watch anything of it. You don't want to hear anything from it. Like you want to get back into it, but like it's hard. It's that burnout thing and it sucks.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like your viewers will know too. They're like, okay, they're playing Animal Crossing, but they kind of just don't seem as excited as they were before. And I
Yeah.
think the viewers can feel that kind of vibes and stuff.
Oh yeah. And it was kind of me yesterday. I was like I was restarting. I was really excited to restart that island and then like I don't know what flipped in my brain, but I was just like, eh, I don't really want to play Animal Crossing anymore. Like I got to a whole hour of playing Animal Crossing and then I was like, okay, I think I want to go back to Dead by Daylight again. But I'm sure I'm going to go back to Animal Crossing again. I just have to take it slower and not go so hardcore where I play 3 to 4 hours, 5 days a week, because that's what I was doing. That's why I have the amount of hours that I have,
Yeah.
and it's it's very interesting to find where you're where you're at, where you want to be, because like right now my numbers have been a lot lower. And that's something that I'm okay with sharing with people because like I see it and I know that they're lower and there could be a number of reasons why those numbers are lower, but I know that in the end, part of it has to do with the fact that not a whole lot of those Animal Crossing people that followed me in the beginning are wanting to see somebody play a killing game or a
Yeah.
surviving game, however you want to look at it. So I know in the end that the reason why I'm not doing so hot in where I'm at is because of Dead by Daylight, but it's not stopping me because I
Mhm.
love playing Dead by Daylight and I've switched people into the playing the game. I've and it's not I don't even push people to play the game. Like that's one of those things that I'm like you need to play Dead by Daylight. No, I'm not going to do that. And I do the same thing with any other game. I'm not going to be like, "Ooh, you want to play that game? Like you should totally play this game too because you'd be into it." Like I'm not that much of a person to tell somebody what they like cuz I don't know what they like. What they like might be a little bit different from that aspect, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I get what you're saying. And I mean, like you're saying Dead by Daylight. I don't play Dead by Daylight. A lot of people are like, oh, you should try, and it's like totally fine. But I still come into like your streams and a few other people's streams because it's fun to watch, and you guys like clearly love the game, and I feel like there's always a difference of when someone's playing a game that they're absolutely loving and having a great time versus they're playing a game because they kind of feel like they have to. So it's always nice to
Right.
see someone who's, oh, I'm loving what I'm doing right now with this game.
For sure. It's something that's been different for me. And I started playing DBD like a year ago. And so like the amount of fun I've had within the last year playing the game and getting other friends playing the game as well has been really fun because then you get more people wanting to play with you and then it's just it's a fun feeling. It gets that community esque thing. It's kind of like getting people to play Animal Crossing or Stardew or any other cozy game. It's the same thing. It's like any game that you get somebody to play, you get excited about it because you're like, ooh, you're playing it. Like my sister started playing Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town. Okay. She started playing it and she has never played it, or I mean, she kind of has played games like that. It's just something that I didn't think that she would really get into, which was kind of dumb of me because she loved Viva Pinata.
I do love that
But
game.
right, but I told her I was like, yeah, I think you would like that game. I'm not 100% sure, but like I think you'd be into it. She was like, okay. Within the first week, I think she said she had so many hours. I can't remember how many it was, but it was a lot. It was a lot of hours and I'm like I don't even have that many hours into that game. Like that's insane. And so it was really kind of cool to see her get into that specific game. And she's usually into more of like adventure games. Like she finished Super Mario Galaxy within a week. Sunshine, the same thing. Like she's one of those people who is like really good at the games. I was the person that would watch her play the game and then steal what she did and go, "Oh, that's how you play the game." But it's that
I
feeling
definitely.
of getting other people into games that just kind of keeps you going.
Yeah, I think it's like I've definitely had people watch me play certain games or friends and I've talked about games and they're like, "Oh, I never thought about it, but you look like you're having fun and it looks a lot cooler." And then they'll play it. Like one of my friends, he really wasn't into Pokemon. Like he wasn't a gamer. He played like Red when he was like whatever, 7 years old. Didn't really understand it because he was 7.
Right.
And then when Pokemon Sun and Moon came out, I was playing it. One of our other friends was playing it, and he was like, "I got to get into this." And now he's like the biggest Pokemon fan. He's like played Let's Go Pikachu like 100 times. He's done Shield and everything like that. But it was kind of like one of those like I could bring a friend into something that I love and like a game that I love, and it's always cool to have that kind of stuff happen too.
I love that. I love that. Um, I think that kind of comes with the variety streaming as well, because like we do the same thing. We watch somebody else play a game, and then we're like, "Huh, I kind of like that," and then we start streaming it because we're like, "Oh, I saw this person play this game. I'm gonna stream it. I want to experience this with you guys." And then you play the game, and you're like, "Huh, dang, this is fun."
Yeah, yeah, I definitely, now that you're saying that, I was thinking I got Stardew when it first came out on my PC, and I couldn't play the mouse and keyboard. I just can't do that with games. And then I started, watching some people play it on Twitch, and I was like, huh, I like Harvest Moon. It's on the Switch now, and I got it on my Switch, and then I played that so much. I got it on my PC because I finally got something I could connect a controller with. And I started playing that with my husband, whose games include like Destiny and League of Legends. And like he never really played anything like that. But we started, a group farm on each of our computers. We played together. And he, there's no right way to play Stardew Valley. But there was somehow he was making like 5 times as much money as me, caught all the fish. Like he was just doing so good at this game that he never really played anything like before. The only thing I was better at is I talked to the villagers, and he was like, "I don't care about that. I got like thousands of dollars, and you got nothing." And so, like that was one thing that was like really cool. Like I saw people play it on Twitch, and I was like, "I actually will like this more." And then my husband was like, "Well, I guess I'll play a game with you." And we've done like multiple farms, gotten to at least year 3 or 4 or 5, and it's like it's great being able to share a game with him that I didn't think he would enjoy.
Yeah.
So
It's funny because I'm about to get I'm getting my husband into to Stardew at some point. I asked him if he'd play it with me, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess I could play that with you." So now I'm like, "How, when, where should I do this?" Because I'm like, I want to not like push it
yeah.
too much. I guess you would say, like, I don't want to be like, you got to do this and this and this, but like let him do whatever he can. And his son, my stepson, started playing it just because it was on the Steam account. He saw that it was on the Steam account, and he's like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna play this game. I saw you play it before." And then I'm like, "Yeah, I've played quite a bit of Stardew." And he's like, "Okay, well, I'll play it." So he he started playing it all by himself, and I'm just like watching him. I'm like I was behind him, just like peeking over his shoulder. I'm just like, "What you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm saying hi to this person," and it was Shane, who's like my bae. Like I love Shane. And I was just like, "Oh, I love Shane." And then Shane like said something mean to him. He's like, "Well, he's kind of rude." I was like, "You'll learn to love him." But
Yeah, I think that's great. I love just sharing games and people being like, "Oh, you played this? I'll try it out." And it's easier with games like Stardew where they're cheaper because they're indie games and it's just still an amazing game. So it's like I love being able to share that kind of stuff with people.
yeah, I bought it for my mom. Uh, I bought started for my mom. I've considered buying it for my sister, but I'm sure she would like, I don't know, murder me because she wouldn't get any sleep again because, Pooch, she didn't get any sleep with Story of Seasons. Who knows how it's going to be with Stardew.
Yeah.
Especially because the amount of content has just like grown with the most recent update.
Hmm.
And then I also bought it twice for the PC because we have an account, a shared account. And so if my husband was to play it and I was to play it, we wouldn't be able to play it at the same time. So I bought it for both accounts. Plus I have it on the Switch. Like,
Same.
I'm like,
Same.
it's just $15. It's fine.
Yeah. It's like it takes so much power every day to not buy it on my phone too. It's like,
I
no,
know.
you
I was
got it.
just gonna say
You
that.
won't your phone will die very quickly. You need to work in the daytime. So, but yeah, Switch, PC twice. It's like might as well get it somewhere else. Such a good game.
Right? It is. It really is a good game. And to think that only one person, made it initially,
Mhm. Yeah.
is pretty cool. So back with the variety streaming, with the pros, I'm gonna go back to the pros there because we were talking about the cons a little bit there, and I'm gonna go back to the pros here. I feel like streaming variety, even though with the numbers being horrible sometimes, like we said, playing with other people as well is like having like mul- multi-stream. Have you done a multi-stream? I think you have.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
did
think I've
one
been in.
with Heck Gaming.
Yes,
And then I
yes.
did another Stardew Farm with a few different people. We did a four-person farm.
Yeah. Multi-streams can be kind of hectic,
Yeah.
chaotic, fun, but also kind of have you ever noticed a drop in numbers when you do multi-streams?
Especially when there's like when you're talking with someone, I feel like you're having those conversations with people, and then it's hard to kind of also talk to your chat. Um, and like, while I think it's cool to do multi streams, I didn't really get many followers from it. And I feel like, which is fine, like, I honestly didn't care, but I know a few other people are kind of like, oh, I want to, collaborate with you for sure. And I feel like some of the times it's not genuine. Um, especially when it's someone you don't really know. But other times it's fun to talk to your friends when you're playing games.
For
So
sure.
there's definitely like a benefit and a downside to it.
Yeah.
I feel like if you really know the people you're collaborating with, that's always better than like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of know you.
Right. It's kind of something that I've been it's kind of like with these podcasts. I started doing it because I wanted to talk to more people, but I didn't know a way to come across it without being like I want to play games with you because like I don't really want to play games with people. I just want to know where they got their start on Twitch or any kind of content creating journey. And making talking to these people, like messaging people, especially ones that I don't typically just message, and I don't like typically hang out in their chat and say stuff in there. I do a lot of lurking. I am a heavy lurker. I will always have a Twitch stream up when I'm doing some sort of like doing something on my computer. I will always have somebody on. And so I don't know if these people know that I lurk in their chat because I don't I don't tell them that I'm lurking. I just do. And then I get nervous that when I message these people that they're like gonna just be like, who are you? And I'm like, "Oh, I really haven't said anything in your chat. I'm sorry, but like I would love you to be on my stream because I think you'd be great." So like I don't know. It's weird. Doing this podcast has been very interesting and has been a journey so far, being able to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And
I
has
honestly
changed a lot of things too.
Yeah, I think honestly a podcast is a great idea because it kind of you get to learn about people more. I feel like, with collaboration streams, you don't really get to like talk about the person and what they've done and how they've got there. You kind of just start playing the game, which is fine. But I've loved watching your podcast. I think it's been great to like learn more about like you and whoever else is on the podcast. I like them probably a little bit more than I do a lot of collaboration streams. So.
Ah, thank you. I appreciate that. I just made a weird like cawing now noise. But doing collaborations have a lot of I'm trying to figure out the word. It's a lot of fun to do the collaborations. It's like you said with the you have to learn the different things with communicating with the chat and with the people that are in the voice chat as well. And one of those things is like I've watched some other people do like they play um, this is what I mostly end up watching lately, Dead by Daylight, and they have their Survive with Friends group. And what I see a lot of them do, especially the ones that have like a like bigger streamers where they have a lot of chat going, they
Mhm.
won't look at chat through the match because it, distracts you through the match.
Mhm.
But they will do more talking to the chat and thanking everybody for follows and subs and all that stuff at the end of the match. Like they completely ignore it until like that happens, and then when it happened, like when the searching for a match or gearing up or whatever, they'll be like, oh, okay, let me look at what's going on, and then they start scrolling through it and say, oh, thank you for this, I appreciate it, and they're like, oh my god, thank you so much for this. It's like one of those things that you have to figure out what the balance is, especially with talking to other people in the stream,
Yeah.
in the voice chat and whatnot.
Yeah, I think Dead by Daylight's a great example of a good game to collaborate with because, like you said, there's the match and then there's the time between. And like when I was doing Mario Kart, it was kind of the same. There was the race and then the time between, and that was easier to do a collaboration with. Whereas for Stardew, it was kind of like, there was four of us, so it was like even more complicated because, we were like waiting for people because they were talking for their chat and like that kind of stuff. Um, and so it was like, oh, hey, can you finish this? The day's over. We need you to go, like, we need to continue on. Whereas with Mario Kart or like Dead by Daylight, there's the game and then there's the pause. And I think those kind of collaborations typically work better, at least as mostly from a viewer point. I haven't done a ton, but
Yeah, yeah,
there's
for
definitely some
sure.
that work better.
I feel like it works better as that way too, because I'm still learning that. Because I know that when I played Dead by Daylight and I have the voice chat on, for those that are playing with me, I will sometimes forget that chat's even there, and I like feel like it's not a good idea to have voice chat on all the time. So like I have to like cut back on how often I do voice chat with Dead by Daylight, unless it's more of like a, oh, this is a specific Survive with Friends day, and if you want to be in voice chat, you can be, like, sort of thing. So, that's something that I've been learning in the last couple of months. I almost said years. It's not like I've been doing this for that long. The last couple of months, I've been changing slowly how I've been doing things on stream, and that's just kind of something that you kind of learn with streaming altogether.
Yeah, definitely figuring out growth over time for sure.
Yeah, you have to like go through each like learning what filters on a mic. Learning
Yeah.
the different filters on a mic. I it took me an entire year before I actually realized, oh, you can put filters on a mic and you can like not bleed everyone's ears out, like and then learning
Yeah.
lighting and stuff like that. Like it's
Oh,
been a very slow process for me, but I've been getting there.
I'm still figuring out lighting. That's definitely what I struggle with.
Right. For sure. I understand. Like it's one of those things with streaming altogether is learning what you can improve on, and I have thought about doing that more so, and going back to certain streams. Like I went back to a Dead by Daylight stream a couple of times and being like, oh, would I want to stay here? And I'm like, do I like would I want to stay here? It's one of those things that it's something that I learned from watching Quirky Pixel. Quirky Pixel did a
Yeah.
YouTube video, and she like reviewed her own stream, and it was really cool to think about that. And I was like, huh, maybe I should do that. So I feel like doing that, like every other week or once a month or something, and improving something through your stream is a good way to grow, not just numbers wise, but you know,
Mhm.
stream wise.
Yeah, yeah. Quirky Pixel, she does an amazing job on that. I also saw the one where she like reviewed one of her old streams, and I did that, and I was like, I don't know how I am like purple in my lighting. Like, how do I fix this? And so, like, I kind of knew, my lighting's not great, but I'll look
Hmm.
okay. And I was like, I look purple here, and then like an Oompa Loompa in the next one. So it's just like it's been a process trying to figure some of that stuff out. But I wouldn't have known if I didn't go back. And I did that
Hmm.
one time where people were like, "Oh, your sound's kind of weird," but they didn't say that until like an hour into the stream, and I was like, "What's so weird about it?" And I tried to fix it on the stream, but it's hard to fix on the fly. So I went back later, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm really echoey. I don't know what that's about, but." I think watching is definitely. I feel like a lot of people are nervous to watch because they're like, I don't want to see
Yeah.
if I did stuff bad. But it's really important to be like, I could do better here, and I did so good here. Let me do more of that too. So
It's I I did one time and realized that you could hear something in the background, and I'm like, how can you guys hear that? So like I had to fix something. It made me fix my audio in a part where I was just like, "Mm, nope, gotta turn this down, gotta adjust this thing," and I got rid of it. So when I figured out what filters were for my Blue Yeti microphone, because I have a new microphone now, but with the Blue Yeti microphone, it was picking up so much stuff, and I did not realize it because no one tells you these things because
Mhm.
they don't want to be that person to tell you. They don't want to be like, oh, hey, by the way, like, yeah, whenever your husband burps, yeah, we can hear that. Like, I didn't realize that, and until I actually went back and looked at a VOD or even a clip. I saw one clip and I was like, oh, wow, why didn't I know this? Okay, so we are our worst critics,
Yeah,
but sometimes it helps.
yeah, it really helps. Like you said, people on stream be like, "Oh yeah, I can hear you fine," but then you like go in and you're like, and then you can hear the people next door and like cars outside. Like people are nice, and that's great, but and it's hard. You can't like fix it in a stream, not really. So it's always important, I think, to go back.
Right, it is. It very is. Very is? Okay. Yep.
Areas.
Words. We're gonna switch on over to the Q&A portion here.
Cool.
And for those that are in the Twitch chat, if you want to ask a question, now is the time to do so. If you go down to the channel point redemption, there is a channel point redemption of ask a question slash podcast. It just costs 10 points. That is all it costs. So it's really not anything. Let me just, find them because I just have a bunch of things from yesterday that I didn't realize were still on here. All right. So the first question is from Titus Shot saying, I've been told calling someone a variety streamer has negative connotation to it. Do you think there are negatives to describing someone that way?
I don't think so. Like, if someone was going to introduce me, I would say variety streamer. I could see. I can't really see why it would be a bad one, but I guess some people might not want to be said variety. I honestly don't think it's bad. I don't think it would annoy me if someone introduced me that way. So
I
I
think
do
some
think.
people. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I would say like they're a variety streamer, and if you like know a few games they played, so it'd be like, oh, Risa's a variety streamer. They play Animal Crossing and Kingdom Hearts and games like that. Where if you're like, oh, they're a variety streamer, and you kind of cut it off, people aren't gonna know exactly like even like one or two examples of what they should go check them out for. So I'd say following up with at least one or two games would probably help.
For sure. I think that like some people think that it's a negative connotation because of like we were saying before, is that like it's very difficult to become a partner, a Twitch partner, being a variety streamer because your numbers dip up and down too much more often than Twitch would like them to. Twitch wants your number to stay at a very high number, and they want it to stay around that number. And then even then, when they go look at your past content, they just want to see why is your average this high, and
Mhm.
like why is it that you have these followers or whatever. And if your content is variety, a lot of the times Twitch won't look at it as much, as at least from what I have been told from other people that have also applied for partnership and then got denied it because of the amount of variety that they've done.
Yeah, I've heard that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
I
They had like
think
4 games in their thing and they got denied it,
I've seen that kind of stuff too.
which is silly, but you know, it is a thing.
Hmm.
It actually does happen. But I don't think that being a variety streamer is a negative connotation, personally, but I'm sure other people can see it as that way. If you're like, oh, I'm trying to push for partner, and then you're like, but I'm a variety streamer, and then they're like, ugh,
Yeah.
So next question, Banana Rose asks, same question as always. What is a game that taught you an important lesson or that changed how you think about something?
This is getting deep.
Banana always has the deep ones.
I this is really tough. I guess, growing up, I didn't really think of too deep into games. I was a child. But it's gonna be like kind of, I guess, a weird one. And it's not, I don't know if it's a great answer, but Super Paper Mario, which was on the Wii, which Paper Mario is my favorite series of all time. And the one on the Wii, spoiler alert, I guess. The main bad guy had the person he loved thought died, but that turned out to be like your partner that's with you the whole time. And kind of just the way where you don't always know like people's background, and it's kind of one of those like, oh, the villain's a villain, oh, but they have like a sad backstory. But it was kind of one of those, the villain's a villain and they do have that sad backstory, but the person that they're doing all these bad things for, she didn't really forgive him. She was like, no, you messed up. And I think it was something along the lines that back then I was just like blown away. I cry at everything, but that was probably one of the first video games I cried at. And so it's kind of one of those things of, just because something bad happened to you doesn't mean you need to make things bad for other people. And I feel like growing up as someone who was like bullied, and I feel like there's really a stereotype in media of like, oh, they're the bully, but they're bullied at home. And I feel like it's just because you've had bad moments doesn't mean you shouldn't stop showing love and stop caring for people. And I would say that's probably like kind of where it like really hit me in that game. Whereas like, because I was kind of at that age where, oh, I'm understanding things now, high school.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so I would say that's probably the one I could think of right now, off the top of my head.
That is a good answer to that question. I am not answering this question because I think I've already answered this multiple times. I don't even remember what I've said in the past either. So I'm just gonna I've answered it like 3 times. Yeah, I've answered it like 3 times. So we're gonna keep going. Shiny Wave asks, do you think your content will change post-pandemic when the world fully opens up and things return to safe/normal? This is something I've been asking myself lately.
So for me, my content changed during the pandemic because I got a job and then I stopped having that job and now I have another job. So for me, I feel like it was kind of the opposite way when the pandemic began because I had to work around. I used to work for a chain pharmacy, and I don't want to go off on that rant, but I would have 12-hour days some days, and then, every other weekend I had to work. So it was really hard for me to make a consistent schedule because I didn't have a consistent schedule. Whereas with the job I have now, I get I can work the 9 to 5 sort of,
Mm-hmm.
the hours I want to, and then I can now create a schedule for myself. And this job I'll hopefully have continuing forward these kind of nice hours. So my scheduling probably won't change. I think in the summer weekends might be different, vacations and stuff, but I know my numbers will probably change because, like you said, things are going to go back to normal more or less.
Mm-hmm.
I know people would lurk in the daytime because they were working from home, but now people are going back into the office, so it's harder.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so for me, I don't think I will change, but I know my viewership might change. So
Makes sense. I
yeah.
think mine, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell because, like you were saying, that you weren't work or you were working, weren't working, and then you're working again, and so you're making that consistent schedule now. I was working through the entire time, and I this isn't me trying to get sympathy from other people. It's very difficult to like think about the idea of like everyone else gets to work from home and then like you're stuck there, and especially because it's customer service, like you're there, you see all these people, you're getting yelled at by these people consistently, and my content has been very everywhere due to the fact that my schedule has not consistently changed. It has continuously changed because of we've gotten less people, or we've gotten new people, and so I have to train them, and then like my schedule is kind of all over the place, and it's been kind of sucky.
Hmm.
But recently, as in like this last week, I did get confirmation that my schedule shouldn't change a whole lot because we have other people that are able to work other shifts. So I'm able to be working consistently this you know schedule now where I can stream after after work, most of the days. And then on one of my weekends, because my weekend isn't everybody else's weekend,
Yeah.
I'm able to stream most of the day that day. So I have most of my content usually on like Fridays or something. So like my content isn't changing post pandemic, but my viewership, like you said, will most likely change. But it's one of those things. It's all depends on my full time job because that's the one that pays the bills.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that with my first job I got in the pandemic, it was like that. It was like I can't make a schedule because I don't know when I'll be able to stream. And so
Right. It's gonna be a
that's for sure.
surprise for everyone.
Hmm.
Banana Rose asks, "What is one of your favorite gaming memories?"
Um, so back when I was a child, my first Pokemon game I had yellow and I didn't quite get that because I was bad at games. It was like Pikachu can't do anything. But then I got Pokemon Silver and I played that game and then Pokemon Crystal came out and I loved that game. I played it constantly. I beat that game so quickly. Apparently, I had a shiny Cyndaquil, but I just thought it was a glitch until I was older. But I had that game, and I had a friend in elementary school, and we both really just connected with Pokemon, and it was just like so fun to like finally. That was kind of the game that got me into gaming. So it's it's like that's one of my first solid memories of games was playing Pokemon Silver and Crystal with a friend, and from there, I feel like that was what sparked all of my video game stuff since then. So that's like probably my best answer for that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but there is a picture of me as an infant with my dad playing our NES, and
Mm-hmm.
I literally am just holding the controller, but it's a cute picture nonetheless.
I love that.
Hmm.
I know I've answered this before, but this is a different memory that I usually do. Um, so one of my memories that I do have is in, I guess, like early high school. I think just my best friend. I've been friends with my best friend since like I've been best friends with her since like the seventh or eighth grade, but I've known her since the second grade. And I remember in high school, we would be playing games at my house because my house was known to have all the video games. So we would go over there and we would play Guitar Hero and we would play Just Dance and all those games that you would play with your friends. We'd play like Mario Party and stuff like that. And then one day I was like, I really want to play this game, but it's a one player game. And she's like, you can play it. I was like, but then you wouldn't but then you would want to play it too. And she's like, no, I'm not really into playing those types of games, but I would love to watch you. So I would play games like Donkey Kong 64 and would just like be sitting there playing games and she would just watch me. And so it was kind of one of those first ideas of like, streaming almost, except for you're not streaming. It's, you're playing your game and your friends watching you.
Mhm.
One of the memories with that specific game with Donkey Kong 64, we were in my sister's room and because her room had the Nintendo 64. So we were in there and we were playing the game and have you played Donkey Kong 64 before?
Yes, I have,
So do you
for
remember
sure.
the part where there's the armadillo or not yeah, armadillo where it like
Yeah,
gets dark and then like you just see the eyeballs. Well, my
yeah.
sister snuck into the room at the perfect time and turned off the lights right when the eyeballs came on the screen.
Oh my
And we
gosh.
screamed because it was terrifying, but it wasn't terrifying at the same time. It was just a coinky dink how it happened. It was the perfect moment to the point where I had to pause the game and we're just like all dying. And my mom's like, what in the world is happening here? And we're like, game scary, light off.
Mm,
Ah. It was
love
just
it.
one of those things. But yeah, I think that's one of my favorite gaming memories. If there That was the last question that we have on here, but if anybody else would like to ask a question, now would be the time to ask them. It is a 10 what is that word? 10 channel points. There is, yeah, 10 channel points worth. And there you go. Yeah. Big, Shiny's asking the biggest video game crush. Risa.
Uh, this is so hard. Um, Mostly because I don't know. It's just hard for me. I don't to get crushes on video game characters. But okay, I will say probably Sebastian from Stardew Valley. I love him, and I have such a hard time not romancing him every single time. And he likes frogs, so that's definitely up there. Um, I
I
think
love
that's
that.
probably the close. Or Muffy from Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life. But I
Yes.
never went for her because I was like, oh, she's too girly. But now I would go for her.
I
Loved
love
her so
that.
much.
I love that so much. I love that everyone's putting in the chat their crushes.
Cloud,
Um,
I like Cloud.
but I'm not completely sure who my biggest video game crush is. I think when I first started streaming, having Shane from Stardew Valley was my video game crush at the time. But I don't know. Like even before, I didn't play a whole lot of games that had ones that were crushes. I feel like mine. I don't know. I watched more movies than I did when I was younger and TV shows and stuff like that than I did play video games. I play more video games now than ever. I
Mhm.
did play video games when I was younger, just not as much as I do now.
Yeah.
But I think Shane is gonna have to be my answer because I don't know anybody else at this time.
Yeah. I
Uh,
feel like I get crushes on real people more than like animated people. So I was like, don't know
right.
how to answer that.
I don't know my animated people that I get crushed. You know, Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I fucking
I
like
mean,
just swooned. so hard when I was young. I mean, I still do, but like when I was younger, I like swooned so hard to the point where like fan fictions, like,
Mm.
you
Mm.
know, it was to that point. So, you know, Blue
I feel
Wave
like when
asked the
I
question instead of using bit instead of channel points that used bits. So thank you, Blue Wave, for the 10 biddies. What were you gonna say, Risa?
I don't remember. Oh, I liked Sokka more. He was funny.
You know, makes sense. Honestly, like to like now, I like have a whole crush on everybody, like,
Mhm.
but not like that kind of crush because they're teenagers. So that's
Children.
just
Yeah.
kind of like ew. But you know what I mean?
Mhm. I know
Like
what you
the
mean.
idea of them. Blue Wave asked, "What was the first game you remember playing?"
Oh, this is a tough one. Um,
I
we
think
had a
I have an
64
answer. Yeah.
and I had Tigger's Honey Hunt on Nintendo 64, and I eventually 100%ed that game, but I don't know if that's the first one I played. Oh, on my computer. I had a Blues Clues birthday party game or something like that, and I loved that game, and I played that game constantly on my parents' computer, and they were like, Risa, it's a back in the day, it was like one computer per household, and we had that
Mm-hmm.
computer. That's probably one of the first ones. I'm not entirely sure though. Yeah, it was
I
either
love
that
that.
or Tigger's Honey Hunt.
I
Those are my
love that so
guesses.
much. I think I don't know, the first one that I really remember playing, like console wise, for sure it had to be a Mario game of some sort. Probably Mario Kart is the one that I remember the most, and usually Nintendo 64 games is what I remember the most of my first like actual playing games, because that's what I grew up on the most. And I remember for like PC games, we had Sims the demo, and that was all it was Sims the demo.
Mm,
I don't even know how it was a demo because we played for like hours on it, and there was another like any of those like CD-ROM games. Like we had so many of
yeah.
those, and we had two separate computers because my dad works with computers. So like my dad's computer, his working one was over here, and then over here was our family get to play no internet games like
Mhm.
Sims and stuff like that. So that's my answer to that one. Andrew asks, "What's your favorite game?"
Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. I love that game. I had it on GameCube as a child. I never beat it. I got to the boss and she was just too strong because I was dumb as a kid. But I have replayed that game so many times. I have gotten my GameCube out to replay that game. I played it on the Wii. I love it so much. Okay, the Switch needs a virtual console. I would buy regular Paper Mario, the first one on 64 again, and then I would also buy the Thousand Year Door. I love that game so much. I could play it constantly over and over all the time. I loved it so much.
I love that. I love that you actually had an answer at the like you just like straight up like this is my answer, because my answer is when. What's your favorite game? Like, do you mean like now or like when? Like, so like now it's currently. I loved I love playing Dead by Daylight right now, but throughout all the games that I've played and have kind of I guess like if it's like finished games because I never finish games, but I finished Spiritfarer and I absolutely loved that. Like I recently finished it like a couple of weeks ago, and I cried and cried and cried, but I absolutely loved it and loved all the messages it came with and everything like that. So like I think Spiritfarer is one of my definitely one of my top favorite games.
That is a
And
really good game.
it is so good. Like I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll play this game on stream." And I'm so glad that I couldn't play the at least the first bit on stream because I was bawling. Like it was like I'm crybaby in this situation, but like I was able to play it and cry on stream because like I'm okay with it
Mhm.
later on. So it was one of those things. I think Spiritfarer is definitely one of my top games. I'm not gonna say that it's my number one favorite game, but I'm gonna say that it's definitely one of the tops. Banana is asking, what is the stupidest mistake you've made in a video game?
Oh, this is a tough one because I feel like I'm pretty good at video games for being really bad at video games.
I understand
There's,
that.
I would say it's like hard to be like when I was a kid because I was, you're 5 years old. I don't understand how Pokemon works back then. But I, I don't know. That's a really tough one. There's definitely been times, like recently, I've been playing Kingdom Hearts 2, and I was like, why am I so underleveled for these worlds? And it turned out I had accidentally skipped two, and by going back to them, I was overleveled. But I feel like I haven't done anything like too dumb in too many games. I feel like whenever I'm switching systems, like going from a Switch to the Xbox controller to the PlayStation controller, I like forget what my keys are and I do that kind of stuff. But it's like it's okay. I'll say one. It's not really stupid, but the first Harvest Moon game I played was A Wonderful Life, and in that game you had to get married in the first year. And then my next one was Magical Melody, and I was like, I have to marry somebody in a year, and I like didn't know what to do, and I like cranked one of the villagers. I think it was Joe. He was like the easiest to romance, and I was like, I have to marry this guy, and I got like married in the summer. I like had the house upgraded, married in the summer, and I was like, later found out I didn't have to do that, and there was like plenty of new characters moving in, but I was like, as a kid, I was like stressed out because in A Wonderful Life, they were really easy to woo, but like Magical Melody, there was more work to it. And I was like, this isn't going to work out. I just have to crank on him. I don't talk to anybody else. So that was probably one of the more dumb things I've did.
I'm trying to think about my I'm oh, 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 I got one. My stupidest mistake is restarting my Wild World town
Mm,
right now because I did it like I literally did it, I don't know, a year and a half ago, and I just found out that the only way for you to get the highest expansion in Wild World for Nook's Cranny is if somebody visits your
yeah.
town, and you can't do that unless you're like right next to somebody. And I mean, it would mean that I'd have to go out and buy another Wild World copy and play it on another DS.
Hmm.
But if I was to ever play Wild World again, I'd have to either just live with the fact that I'm not gonna have Nookingtons or, you know. So I think that would
Yeah.
be my stupidest mistake.
Yeah, I get that. That stinks. I haven't even touched Wild World in a long time, but I might
I
have
haven't
that issue
either.
too.
I restarted it like, oh, you know, a year and a half ago. It was like when I was streaming. I was like, oh, I'll restart it so I can just start it on stream. And that was back when I had like my phone camera was on my DS because I don't have a capture card for my DS.
Mhm.
And so I think I restarted it to play on stream, and then I never actually played it on stream. So sucks, but I think that was the stupidest mistake I've made in video
Oh, I feel that.
games.
I feel that.
Wild World is on the Wii U. Best is it really?
Yeah, I think
Well,
so.
crap. Now I'm gonna have to go look it up. I need to start playing some more games that are on Virtual Console and whatnot. But yeah, I think that is the end because I have no more questions. So I think we're gonna wrap it up there. I appreciate you so much for accepting my invite to be on my podcast. I really appreciate that.
You. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I was really excited because I was telling you before, I wanted you to be in the first season, but when I cut the first season where it was at, I was like, okay, I need to reevaluate my list and like go through them. I was like, I have to have Risa on this season. Like it
Oh,
has to
thanks.
happen. I mean,
Thanks.
it's I remember having you like I've been in your streams since not the beginning, but very near to it. I'm pretty confident on that.
Yeah.
But I've always enjoyed my time in your streams, and I felt like it was I wanted to know where you got your start and stuff. So for those that are in the Twitch chat, you are seeing at the in the Twitch chat the social medias that Risa has. Go please go. Wow. Okay. Please go follow all of the socials that they have there. And if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on one of the podcast platforms, you'll find it in the description below. All of the links for Risa, as well as all the links for mine and for FayFam Talks, all of the ones that I have for Twitter and whatnot. So again, I appreciate you for being on here. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. So, thank you everybody that's in chat. Thank you for hanging out. If you are listening in on that YouTube or podcast platform, if you want to ask a question in real time, all you have to do is go ahead and follow me on Twitch and see us next week on Saturday with our next guest for Mushbean. Mushbean is our next guest, and I'm really excited to go talk to her. So I will see you guys next time, and bye.
Bye.